Christians and my short-sighted friend here who asked the question, what's the point of living a godly life if you are elected? Then he goes on to say that God picked you to live as you please. Makes no difference. And then he says Calvinism is satanic. Calvinism is satanic, yet he says that God picked you to live as you please. That sounds like Satan to me, that God picked you to live as you please. That is what the world teaches. Now, as for his question, what is the point of living a godly life if you're elected? Because you live a godly life because you are elected. God, when God elects you, when God has elected us to salvation, which he did before the world began, chose his people to be in him before the foundation of the world. When the council of God make that determination as to who would be saved, he also foreordained the means through which they will be saved, and he also foreordained and predestined the works that they would do. So when you go to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, where it says what we all know, for grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is a gift of God. Then it goes on and says, not of works, lest anyone should boast. Catch verse 10. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. That is why we live godly lives, because it was also ordered by God beforehand, in the works and the walk that we would have. He chose those as well. Now, if you look at Philippians chapter 2, my friend, verse 13, it says the following: for it is God who works in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. Look, this is amazing. Paul says, therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with trembling and fear. Work out your salvation. The assumption is that you already have it. So the person who already has salvation, he goes on to say, for it is God who works in you both to will. Your will, he gave you. It is God who works out in you to will and to do. Why? For his good pleasure.